Ooh,
I don't really bother too much with. I don't really bother too much. I'm sorry, Big Ox, for interrupting.
No, you good. Oh, well, welcome, PC fam, to another episode of Chill with Chill. This is actually the first episode. This is the first episode we've done during since preseason started, right? Because the first preseason game was Thursday. So as far as I'm concerned, season started. Welcome to the basketball season, y'all. We're here, we excited, we ready to give y'all all the content. We're gonna talk about it, but Chill, I know you had something on your mind that we was talking about previously. We want to, kind of get into this best player conversation because I've been seeing these lists like who's the top 25 post Jordan. It's like we got to go pre-Jordan, post Jordan, but Jordan's just obviously obviously the GOAT, but he's just a man, So let's talk about who was the best player in the league. What years should we start though, ChillTown? Like, are we going year by year? Are we going kind of like decade by decade?
What I'd like to do, Big Ox, is I would like to go year by year, and basically how these dudes got to that point, right? How did they get to the point where they were the best player in the game, and how long were they on top, right? Because what we do is we have a tendency to keep guys in a position simply because they were there before. I mean, that's how we come up with, right? That's how we come up with the league MVP. That's how we come up with the defensive player of the year. That's how we come up with the all NBA teams. The reason why a lot of people will say, yo, it's a year-to-year basis. Right. It is a year-to-year basis. I can definitely get with that. But with that being said, it's also what you've done previous to that. So, like, for example, this year, who is the projected league MVP coming into this year? Word is it's Joker. Word is that it's Joker.
Is okay. I mean, that would make sense, because he had it the year previous, and then everybody was saying, well, he hasn't won. Well, he just won. So, and if you ask me, he's far from taking a decline.
Right. So with that being said, Big Ox, from what you just said, you going off what he had done previous to that. It's not like, we got a new season and everybody got a clean slate. No. The consensus is he should have won it last year. So because he should have won it last year, and the fact that he had won it 2 years previous to that, they won the NBA championship last year. What he did last year, and coming into this season, there's no reason to think that he can't continue that. That's the consensus. I think it's somebody different, but this is what we're going off of, Big Ox. We largely go off of what you did previous to that. I keep hearing people saying stuff like the MVP, the defensive player of the year. All of this stuff is on a year-to-year basis. No, it's not. And the reason why it's not is because these dudes develop a track record. And with them developing a track record, we speculate based on that track record. Big Ox, what do you see your boys doing this year in Sacramento?
Top four seed. Top 4 seed. Making another run. Hopefully we can get at least a deep second round run.
So you got your boys in Sacramento advancing past the first round this year. Is that correct?
Yeah, got to.
And why you got y'all advancing past the first round this year?
I think because we went to 7 with the defending champs last year, and I think we got better this offseason.
Did you just hear what he said? What they did last season. So based on what they did last year, the track record that they have so far, the fact that De'Aaron Fox is going to be better this year, the fact that Keegan Murray is going to be better this year, the fact that this team is going to be better this year, that's what he's going off of. Well, that's the same logic we use. That's the same logic we use when the league MVP shows up. That's the same logic we use when the defensive player of the year or when we have an NBA champion. It's based on what we saw the year before that or in previous years. That's what we're speculating on. That's what we're going off of. So Big Ox saw his Sacramento Kings. If I asked Big Ox 3 years ago, Big Ox, what you see your boys doing? Big Ox would not tell me that his boys would be in the second round of the playoffs. He would not tell me that. And the reason why he wouldn't tell me that is because they weren't that good. He's going off what he's seen over the last couple of years. There's no reason why we should be a playoff team. But what he saw last year with the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox winning clutch player of the year, them having the fastest offense in the game, right? Them having the fastest offense in the game. With all of that stuff being said, he's speculating, and this isn't him saying, the Sacramento Kings. This isn't him saying, yo, we win an NBA championship. No.
Right.
From what I saw last year, I think we're going to be better this year. It's based on what I saw last year. So when I see Jason Tatum, based on what I saw last year, him improving, him having a career year, and now him taking that next step at 25 years old and getting closer and getting better, I'm basing that on the fact that every year he's gotten better. I think he's winning the league MVP this year.
JT,
That's
okay. JT's still on the incline.
That's what I think. He's still.
What is he?
He's still going this way. He's 25 years old.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think we've seen the now. Big Ox, there's a difference. I want to make sure we clear on this. There's a difference between your peak and your prime. I think that he just entered his prime, and when I say that, I mean probably not this season that just passed, not the 22-23 season. I'm going to say the 21-22 season. I feel like he had just entered it.
Okay.
And last year, he's at the beginning of it.
Okay.
This year right here, I think that this year is the beginning of his peak.
Right.
And how long he can stay at that. So I'm thinking from 25 to, let's say, 31.
30. Okay.
Like what kind of years can we? What kind of great seasons can we get out of him from this age for the next 5 or 6 years? I think these are his peak seasons. Now, when we get on the
who else do you got in there, ChillTown? Like, let me get your five MVP guys. Who are the 5 guys fighting for MVP this year?
The 5 league MVPs, I think, as of right now, I think JT is going to win it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joker is right behind him. I think Giannis is right behind him. And then it gets tricky.
Mm.
And the reason why I feel like it get and Joel Embiid is in that conversation also.
Yeah.
Those 4 guys. And then Anthony Davis.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 guys that I think are league MVP candidates this season.
I do have to for my personal list, I probably have to take Joel out of there and put Luka in there. I think for my personal 5, it's pretty much the same as yours, except I think I'll have to flip flop Luka and Joel.
Let me ask you this question, Big Ox. What's the allure with Luka?
It's been the same allure with him. He's electrifying. He plays the style of basketball that most people like to see. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm hard on Luka, but
you are, Big Ox.
a lot of he's a baller though. Like I would never not admit the fact that he's a certified hooper. Like he's almost unguardable. He's big. He can do everything. He's gonna. And I think him and Kyrie having the time they spent together last year, having this whole off season. I mean, obviously they're in Abu Dhabi now. They're playing. I think him and Kyrie are going to be an electrifying backcourt, and Luka's backcourt. I'm sorry, and Luka's going to be the head of that. So,
I think that's a fair assessment. But I think that the guys that I had ahead of him, I think in terms of their value and how much more that they bring to their group, I think it's gonna matter just a little bit more. I mean, Luka was tagged to win the league MVP last year. He finished 8th in league MVP votes last season.
Right, okay.
The year before that, he was picked to win the league MVP. The year that Joker won it, he finished 5th that year.
Okay.
He ended up finishing 5th that year. And I mean, don't get me wrong, they went to the Western Conference Championship, but it's largely due to what you do in the regular season. Now, when I feel like when you playing at an MVP level, you are one of the best players in the game, if not the best player in the game. And the fact that you win the league MVP, I think we get confused, Big Ox. And the league MVP confuses a lot of people because sometimes it is the best player in the game.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is the best player in the game. So because sometimes it's the best player in the game, that's who the best player in the game is, the guy who wins the league MVP. But the problem we have in Big Ox is sometimes the best player in the game doesn't win it. And somebody else wins it. And then we looking at that dude like, well, wait a minute. Is he the best player in the game? And we know that this dude is not the best player in the game. No, he's not. But what we also know is he is playing at an MVP level. So he's in the conversation. I mean, I don't think that there's anybody that thought that Steve Nash was the best player in the game. Because I know I did.
No, I didn't either.
I did not think he was the best player in the game. However, when he won it in back-to-back seasons, it did solidify that he was playing at an MVP level. That did happen. 100%.
Well, you know what? Well, actually, first let me ask you one more question first before I get into that. What type of chances does Damian Lillard have at an MVP shot this year? I know he said this is my first time being able to play with a player that's better than me, and I think those are just some of those talking points. But that's the right thing to say, Dame. Mm-hmm. But honestly, Dame, especially being where he's from and being the player he is, I don't think he believes Giannis is better than him. Honestly, I think Damian Lillard 100% believes he's the best player touching the hardwood, and so I want to know, because I mean that team is going to win 50 games. They're going to win 50 games for sure, easy 50. Can Damian Lillard make a run at the MVP race this year?
I think he would have to switch up his game, and the reason why I feel like he'd have to switch up his game because I think that he would be more valuable doing the stuff that like Steve Nash did, doing the stuff that Stockton did, being more of a distributor, more of a playmaker, being better on defense. Not Steve Nash, but like I said, like what Stockton did, being more of a playmaker, being more of a distributor. Because to average 32 a game with Giannis, I think you're asking a lot, Big Ox. Mm-hmm. I think you're putting a lot on that for him to average that. I think he'd be in the conversation more if he was more of that. And I mean, Damian Lillard got close. He was closest to that. I believe it was the 1920 season in the bubble where he went 30-8.
Right.
I think that was the closest that he was to that. And I think he finished like 6th in the league in MVP votes, something like that. I don't think he was close. So with what they need him to do, with what they need Damian Lillard to do on that crew, he doesn't do it like what Drew Holiday brought. Being the not just the primary ball handler, the playmaker on defense, the point of attack man, slowing guys down in that area. So with that being said, I don't think that he's going to be in the league MVP conversation unless he has a season like I think him changing his game. If he has that kind of season, then I think we can have that conversation.
Could Dame average like 8+ assists?
He could. Well, it's obvious that he can because he did it when he was in Portland. He can do that, and now playing in Milwaukee with Lopez, with Bobby Portis, with Giannis, mm-hmm. right? With these guys, he could definitely be more of a distributor. 100%. He could even be a double-digit distributor. I wanted to say that. I wanted to ask about 2+, but he could be a double-digit distributor if he changed his game and allowed himself to be more of a distributor and a playmaker. Like if Dame was like, let's say for the sake of argument, Dame was 23-11. Big Ox, if he was 23-11, I think that means that Bobby Portis, that means that Giannis, that means that Brook Lopez, that means that these guys are all playing at a high level offensively because he's getting them involved in the game, which means that they win 60+ games, which means we can have
23-10 from Dame. That's gonna be dang.
And you know what that means, Big Ox? That means we having a serious conversation about him being the league MVP because remember, it's not always the best player. It's the guy who's the most valuable. So, I mean, if Giannis is averaging, 30 a game, Giannis is their best rebounder. But if that 30 went up to, 34, that would largely be due to Dame passing more.
Yeah, but if he averaged 34, they'd have to give it to him now. Right?
There's no way. I mean, he was 34-12.
They'd have to give it to him.
I mean, we'll be talking about it. I don't think that would be a topic of conversation, right?
That was a scary 45 seconds right there. We just went through. Dame averaging 23-11. Y'all, all right, let's move on to
24-12, something like that, or something like that. Man, that's something completely different right there.
That would be a great season of basketball. I hope something like that does happen.
It would. So and back to the point, Big Ox, when I'm talking about when were you the best player, right? So that's why I said about Jason Tatum. I feel like he's the league MVP this season because of what I saw last year, because of what I saw the year before that, because of what I saw in terms of his improvement. Every year he's getting better. Because he's getting better, I think that he's playing at an MVP. He's been playing at an MVP level. I think he finished 4th this year in MVP votes. So because he's playing at an MVP level, I think that this season he takes that step where he gets it. The year before that, he was playing at an MVP level. The year before that, he was also playing at an MVP level. This year, I think he takes that step where I am the league MVP. So I say that to say, if you're the league MVP, necessarily you're the best player in the game, but sometimes you are. So when is a guy the best player in the game?
Mm-hmm.
And how long has he been that? How long has a guy been at the top of the list? So, for example, Big Ox, when I think about Moses in 82.
Okay.
81,
So that's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start 82.
I think 40. I think 40 plus years is legit,
Okay,
right?
cool.
I think 40 plus years is legit. So, 81, 82, Moses wins the league MVP. Now, again, we're talking about who is the most valuable to his team's success, and I think about what Moses was doing for that 76, for that Houston Rockets team. I mean, he's averaging 30 a game. He led the league in rebounding. He led the league in offensive rebounding. I think he was in the top 5 in the league in defensive rebounds. He led the league in offensive win shares. Now, a lot of people don't understand the reason why offensive win shares is important, because if a team is winning and they're one of the better offensive teams in the game, their wins are predicated on what they do offensively. So the fact that Moses was, one, their best player offensively, and he led the league in offensive win shares, that would make him more valuable than any other player.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're talking about him being the league MVP. Was he the best player in 82, though? Not yet. I don't think he was the best player in the game yet. I still think at that point in 82, I still think it was Jabbar. I think Magic was on his way. I think Bird was on his way also, but I still feel like Jabbar was the best player in the game at that time in 82.
Okay.
Now, he was on the other side of it though, right? He was still on the other side of it, but I still felt like Jabbar. It was Jabbar, Doc, Bird, Moses, and George Gervin was in that conversation. At that particular time, Adrian Dantley, they were talking about him as one of the best scorers in the game, but they weren't talking about him like Jabbar. They weren't talking about him like Bird.
Right.
No, it wasn't like that. So, with that being said, right? With that being said, right? In 83, Moses won it again. Now we're having a different conversation, Big Ox. Right? Now we're having a completely different conversation, because to win the MVP in back-to-back seasons, right? To win the league MVP in back-to-back seasons, this is a Moses who, in 81, he took his team to the NBA Finals, lost to the Boston Celtics. In 82, won the league MVP. I think his team, they lost in the first round. And then the next year, he signs with the Sixers. He signs with the Sixers. They win 65 games, and he wins the league MVP again. Now, if I'm being consistent with my logic, at that point, he's the best player in the game. At that point. And he was the finals MVP too.
And what year is this?
This is 83 now.
83. Okay. So
This
Moses is the best player in 83.
At this point, if I'm being consistent with my logic, he's the best player in the game at that point. Right?
Okay.
So now I think in 84, I think Bird, and again, Bird was on his way. Bird wasn't there yet, but Bird was on his way. In 84, Bird wins. In 84, they win the NBA championship. Bird wins the league MVP. He had just come off being on the All-League defensive team. I think he made the All-League defensive team that year. Was the league MVP, won the NBA championship. Won the NBA championship, was the finals MVP. He wasn't there yet, Big Ox. He was on his way. I don't feel like he was there yet. The next year, in 85, they lose. But he does win the league MVP. Has a great season. He gets outplayed in the finals by Magic, but he's still there. In 86, when he wins it and they win the NBA championship and he wins the finals MVP, he's solidified at that point. He's the best player in the game. Magic, on the other hand, is right next to him. So these two dudes is neck and neck, because Magic in 84 is right there. In 85, he's also right there. In 86, when they lose in the Western Conference Finals, he's still right there, Big Ox. In 87, when Magic wins the league MVP, when he wins the league MVP in 87, outplaying Bird, winning the NBA championship in 85, making first team All NBA, being an elite player, Same thing happens. They lose in 86 in the West Finals, come back in 87. He has a historic season at that point, 24. He was 24-12 at that point. I know that sounds nuts, big eyes. Yeah, he was 24-12. Wins the league MVP, outplays Bird in the finals. At that point, I feel like he is the league MVP. And in 87, I felt like it was Magic. Okay. I feel like he has surpassed Bird at that point. In 88, in 88, it's still Magic. In 89, it's getting tricky. Bird's hurt. Jordan is on his way.
Okay.
Right? Bird is hurt. Jordan is on his way. Jordan wins the league MVP in 88. Magic wins it again in 89. His team success, because again, we're talking about the best player in the game. And when you're talking about being the best player in the game, what's the criteria for being the best player in the game? One of them is winning. At no point do we ever have the best in my lifetime. I can't speak for everybody, but in my lifetime, at no point in my lifetime, I don't ever remember the best player in the game not winning. That has not happened in my lifetime.
When you say not winning, you mean not having a winning record? Do you mean not getting to the playoffs? What is your standard of winning?
That's exactly what not just not having a winning record, but also going deep into the playoffs. And when I say being the best player in the game, Big Ox, so for example, Magic wins the Magic in 1987. Magic is undisputed the best player in the game. That's going on. In 86, Bird is undisputed the best player in the game. In 83, Moses is undisputed the best player in the game. When you're talking about a guy being the best player in the game, there's a difference between being the disputed best player in the game and undisputed best player in the game. There's conversations to be had about this guy. There's conversations to be had about another guy. But then there's guys who, when Magic won it in 87, Magic's the best player in the game. And it's not a question. No questions asked, right? There's no questions asked. So when I think about that, 89, Magic wins the league MVP again. They end up getting dropped. In the semifinals. They lost to Phoenix that year. And I'm really not sure he should have won the league MVP, by the way, big guys.
In 89?
89. Not 89. 89, he should have 89, him winning the league MVP. I get that, right? Okay. I do get the fact that, because when it matters. Even though I thought Jordan, the 87-88 Jordan, I thought 88-89 Jordan was better than 87-88 Jordan. The dude who was the defensive player of the year and led the league in scoring, I thought 88-89 Jordan was better than him. So in 90, that's where I think it got tricky. Because Magic did win the league MVP. I thought Barkley should have won it. Even though when you look at the numbers and what Magic did and the win shares and how important he was to his crew, I mean, the Sixers did finish third in the East, which, by the way, a lot of people don't know this, Big Ox, but the Eastern Conference used to be a nightmare. Like what you talk about when you talk about the Western Conference, Big Ox, that was the East in the 80s. That was the East in the late 80s and in the 90s. The East was a nightmare.
Between the Celtics, the Pistons, the Sixers,
the Bulls,
Atlanta,
Cleveland.
Oh, right,
it was a nightmare, Big Ox. The Eastern Conference was a nightmare back then. Mm-hmm. So I feel like in 90, I mean, it wasn't undisputed that Magic was the best player in the game. Because now we're having conversations about Jordan, Barkley. Like Bird was on the other side of it. He was on his way out. Olajuwon was in the conversation. Ewing was in the conversation, and it wasn't undisputed. In 91, when the Bulls won the NBA championship and he had beaten Magic, all that stuff that Jordan had done up until that point, now we're talking about him as the best player in the game. It still ain't undisputed yet. Not undisputed.
So are you saying like everything that he did up to that point, when he beat Magic, that finally made all that work in the late 80s, mid 80s mean something?
I am saying that, Big Ox.
Now it validated that for okay.
It did. It did. And not only did it validate the championship, it validated the talk of this guy is, if he's not the best, well, it validated him being in the conversation with Magic, with Bird, with Barkley, with all of these dudes. It validated that conversation. That we was right about him. This dude is on the same page with these guys. Mm-hmm. In 92, when they won it again in the season that he had, which I felt like was better, and he won the league MVP in back-to-back seasons, and they won the NBA championship in back-to-back seasons. In 92, that's when it was solidified. This dude is the best player in the game, and it ain't a question. He ended up outplaying Draymond.
I don't want to go backwards, so I want to keep moving on from 91 on. But I do want to say something. A couple people in the chat had an issue with Bird only having 1 year in those 80s. You only gave Bird that one season, and some people had an issue with that.
No. What it was 1 year undisputed.
Okay.
86. Okay. 86, it was undisputed. Those other years, he was the best player, but there was a conversation about other guys.
Right.
That's the difference.
So,
I'm not saying.
I hope that cleared that up for y'all, chat.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he wasn't the best player, and that's the difference that we're having, Big Ox. There's a difference between with a guy being undisputed, this is the best player in the game, as opposed to this guy is the best player in the game, but this guy, and we having a conversation about this guy, and we having a conversation about this other guy. Those two things are completely different.
Okay. So now we at 92 now.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we had 92, Big Ox, and at 90, and in 92, it's official. Jay is the best in the game, and there's whispers about Olajuwon. There's whispers about Barkley. I hear conversations quietly about Malone, but it's Jordan, and the majority of us, not us, the majority of people. Right? The majority of people, 100%, think Jordan is the best player in the game. It's almost unanimous that Jay is the best player in the game. In 93,
no Barkley.
In 93, that's 86 Bird. It's not a question. Jay is the best player in the game. Now, not only is he the best player in the game, the consensus is that he's the GOAT. Even though there is conversations from other people about Olajuwon, about Barkley, about Malone. They're talking about them, but the reality is, Jay is the best player in the game, undisputed at that point. He retires. The next year, Olajuwon, they win the NBA championship. They win the NBA championship in 94, and this is the same Houston Rockets team who got lucky. I mean, if we're being honest, they got lucky, because Seattle got bounced in the first round. It's the same Seattle team that owned them. They beat them, I think, 4 times in 6 years. They owned them. So they got lucky. Olajuwon is the league MVP, wins the Defensive Player of the Year, takes his team to the NBA championship, wins the NBA championship, and wins the Finals MVP. That's never happened in NBA history, right? That has never happened in NBA history before Olajuwon did it. And it hasn't happened since he did it, right?
So by your speculation, of course, because Jay was gone, he was playing baseball. Yeah. But with the year, and I've heard, I believe Kenny, I believe it was Kenny said it. I believe Big Shot Bob said it, that they said they still would have beat the Bulls. Now, with that being said, if they do beat the Bulls, or if they don't beat the Bulls, just the year that, well, let's say they do beat the Bulls. Yeah, let's just for the sake of argument, Jay sticks around, they beat the Bulls. Olajuwon still has that year. In 1994, is Olajuwon still the best player if Jay's around?
Well, that conversation has now gotten louder because he's already been in the conversation, but it wasn't really that loud. It was just him. It was him. It was Barkley. It was Malone. It was David Robinson. Some whispers about Ewing, but the conversation wasn't really that loud. To your question, Big Ox, if that happens in 94, and he ends up beating Jordan, that conversation is even louder now. Same thing with Magic in 85. With Bird is better than Magic. And that's just it. So when Magic ends up beating Bird in 85, well, now the conversation gets louder. Bird's still ahead of him, though. Bird is still ahead of him, but it gets louder. It ended in 87. The conversation ended up ending in 87. So to your question, in 94, I don't think that he's there. I don't think that Olajuwon is undisputed the best player in the game, but the conversation is louder simply because everything that Jay had done up until that point. Even if he loses to Olajuwon, which I think that he would have at some point, either in 94 or in 95, I think they would have lost to them. I still don't think that Olajuwon is undisputed the best player in the game, because the things that he had done up until that point, don't make him undisputed that. Now, I just think that the conversation gets even louder.
Okay. I was on mute. ChillTown. They doing cutting the grass out here. I don't want to.
I understand.
But
Landscapers outside. I can get it.
Yeah. So where are we at? We're at 95 now, right?
We're at 95.
Jay's still gone.
Mm-hmm.
What's it look like?
Well, at this point, Olajuwon is the best player in the game. But what he did in 95, we're finishing second in the league in MVP votes. I think he finished second in Defensive Player of the Year. The Rockets had a tumultuous season that year.
Wait, who won in 95? Was it Malone?
David Robinson won it.
David Robinson, that's right.
David Robinson won it in 95. David Robinson won it in 95. So he was having a tumultuous season that year. They traded his man Vernon Maxwell away. They traded for Drex. They were already a top 5 seed before they traded for Drex. They traded for Drex, and now they're going the other way. This thing isn't really working out. They dropped to the 6th seed, and they basically had to climb their way out of every series. All 3 of their series they played against in the Western Conference. When they played against Utah in the first round, that went the max. It went 5 games. They play against Houston in the second round. That went 7 games. And then they play against San Antonio in the West Finals. That went 6 games. Dominates all of those dudes. Gets Shaq in the NBA Finals. Still playing at a high level, by the way. Playing at a high level. Gets Shaq in the NBA Finals. Dominates that Finals. Wins the league MVP. And for the second straight year, he's the all-time leading scorer. He set a record for points in the playoffs. For the second straight, he broke his record the previous year. At that point, considering what Olajuwon had done up until that point, won the Defensive Player of the Year in 92, and won the Defensive Player of the Year in 93 and in 94, won the league MVP in 94. At that point, we're talking about a guy who, undisputed, is the best player in the game. 100% he's the best player in the game. Jay comes back in 95, 96, and they win 72 games. Excuse me. Jay comes back in 95, 96. They win 72 games, rolling. All of that stuff is good stuff. I'm sorry. All of that's good. They rolling. They sweep Orlando out the playoffs, the team that beat them the year before. We're not really sure if Jay is Jay at that point. But he comes back as Jay again. And they win the NBA championship. He wins the league MVP. And he's back on top with other guys like Olajuwon, David Robinson. There's whispers about these dudes, but Jay is back. Jay is back. 97, they win it again. And I'm in the minority, right? I'm in the minority when I say that the year Jay won the league MVP in 98, I feel like Malone should have won it. I think Jay should have won it in 97 and Malone should have won it in 98. I think those years are flip-flop. And at some point, I'll explain that. I'll get to that. I'll get to that in maybe some other time. But Malone wins it in 97. They go to the NBA Finals. And there's whispers about Malone being the best player in the game. Olajuwon still is in the conversation as one of the best players in the game. But with that being said, Jay is still at the top of the list. And then in 98, when they win it again, and what he did with, having Scottie Pippen out half the season and more than half the season having Scottie Pippen out and them still winning 60 games and everything that they had done, including in the playoffs, right? Including in the playoffs. All of that stuff computed to Jay's the guy. And it ain't a question. So when you have a conversation about Malone, when you have a conversation about David Robinson Dave Robinson had a bad back at that time. I don't think he even played that. I don't think he played that yet. So him, let's see, who else was around during that time? Malone. It was two guys. It was Malone and it was Jordan. That was it. And at that point, Jay was the best player in the game. And
in 98. Was Shaq getting any buzz yet?
Shaq was starting to get buzz, but the problem that we were having with Shaq was that when they was losing in the playoffs, they were losing in the playoffs in a bad way. Like they got swept. I mean, in 97. Because again, when you're talking about being the best player in the game, Big Ox, your legend is created in the regular season and it's elevated in the postseason. So with a guy like Shaq, who in 97. I mean, they got smoked by the Jazz in 5 games. And Shaq was playing at a high level. In 98, they win 60 games. They get smoked by the Jazz again. Swept out the playoffs by them.
Right.
And then in 99, they get swept out the playoffs again. So but Shaq is in the conversation. At some point, Shaq is going to be the best player in the game.
Right.
And that's the logic on him.
And in those 2 seasons, I know David Robinson was hurt, had the back issues and whatnot. But we had this conversation on the panel, and I kind of chose to just sit back and stay out of this talk. But what about Patrick Ewing in like 97? Was he 98? Was he was on the decline already, or okay?
I'm trying to think of a guy that I can think about today who is on the other side of it, because Ewing wasn't on the back end of his prime. He was on the tail end of it. He was probably maybe KD to a lesser version.
Okay.
Maybe
so
to, like 98 was probably like 97, 98. That was probably his last year in that conversation.
So what? Ewing's peak was probably 94, 93, 94, probably more
93, 94. That was from 92 to probably 95. That was Ewing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was Ewing. So then you get the 96, you get the 97. Excuse me, Big Ox. You get the 96, you get the 97. Now we're talking about like Ewing way on the other side of that. Way on the other side of that. So in 99, Malone wins the league MVP. They still don't win the NBA championship, but he's still basically in 99 it was a lockout season. It was a shortened season. And at that point, Jordan was gone. Malone hadn't won it, but he still was in the conversation, winning the league MVP 2 of the last 3 years, taking his team to the NBA championship 2 of the last 3 years. So at that point, it was a real weird time. Could I say Malone was the best player in the league in 99? I mean, I could say that, but it wasn't undisputed. It wasn't. It was not undisputed. In 2000, when Shaq did what he did, and everything leading up to that, right? Everything leading up to what Shaq did in 2000, everything leading up to what Shaq did in 2000, Shaq was the best player in the game, but it wasn't undisputed because Tim Duncan was around. KG was around. But Shaq was, at that point, the best player in the game. And there was guys who we having conversations about Tim Duncan. We having conversations about Allen Iverson. We having conversations about Kevin Garnett. We having conversations about these guys. Yeah. When they won it again the next year, even though Allen Iverson had won the league MVP, when they had won it again the next year, when they beat the Philadelphia 76ers in 2000, the way he dominated him and destroyed him, the talk was now getting louder. Even though Tim Duncan was Tim Duncan, and I felt like Tim Duncan was still in the conversation, but the talk was kind of going the other way when it came to Duncan.
I'm happy. I'm content with just giving that to Shaq in 01, 02. I'm completely 2000. I'm completely fine with now. That's Shaq right there. Boom, boom. In 03, I can get with you, but no, the 2001, 2002. I'm not really wanting to argue that. No, it's Shaq.
In 2000 and in 2001, it's Diesel. In 2002, I still feel like it's Shaq. Duncan wins the league MVP, smokes the San Antonio Spurs, and they win the NBA championship for the 3rd straight year. Smokes them. I don't think we having a conversation. Shaq's the best player in the game.
Yeah.
But Duncan is on his way.
Right.
Duncan is right behind him. He's still there. So when Duncan wins the league MVP the next year in 2003, taking that San Antonio team with an old David Robinson, with the 2nd year Tony Parker, with a rook in Ginobili, with all of these dudes, and takes them to the NBA championship and does what he does in the NBA finals, considering what he did in game 6, which is the closeout game, went 20-20, almost had a quadruple double, right? Had almost a quadruple double in that game. And because he had almost a quadruple double in that game, I think at that point, the talk about Shaq, it's starting to go down a little bit. Shaq's still there, but Tim Duncan, now the talk for him is getting louder. But for me, if I'm being consistent, he was the back-to-back league MVP, won the NBA championship, won the finals MVP. If I'm being consistent, which I am, at that point in 2003, Duncan was the best player in the game. Shaq was still in the conversation, and it wasn't undisputed, but he was the best player in the game. So we could halt it right there if you want. And if you want to talk to some people, bring some people on, let's do it.
Okay. Yeah, so right there, we'll sit down in 2003 when Duncan kind of takes over. You know what? Before we bring the fellas out in the back, let me read a couple super chats. Let me see. From Electric Soda, he said top 10 player nicknames. Good question.
Top 10
Love the show.
Nicknames.
10,
I'm a huge fan.
That's quite a bit. 10, but go ahead.
I think the Diesel is. I think if you call it the Diesel, that's a dope nickname.
Yeah.
Air Jordan. I mean, Air Jordan. Give me a break. I mean, I don't know how much better you could get the Air Jordan. Let's see. I dig Bean. I dig that name. Bean Bryant. I dig the nickname Bean. I'm feeling that. Let's see. Other nicknames. Dr. J. The Mailman. Let's see. The Admiral. I think that was dope. That's what I can think about off the top of my head.
The truth. I think the truth is dope. I mean, Magic.
The truth is dope.
Yeah, that's
the truth
Magic
is dope. Magic is fantastic.
Dope, but that's kind of like that's your name, right? Like Magic, that's your name. That's not
a nickname. That's what we know you as. Like people, he's 60 years old. Don't nobody call him Irvin. They call him Magic to this day.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
People. I can say the same thing about Dr. J too, because it's very few people who call Doc. I mean, Doc almost 70, and I don't think there's many people who call him, Julius. It's Doc. That's what we know him as. Right. So,
I do gotta say, I think my favorite is probably Franchise or The Truth. I think those are probably my favorite nicknames.
I think Big Ticket is awesome too, yo, Big.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love it. Big Ticket is dope. I dig that name. Definitely.
I gotta, you know what? On Monday, I gotta ask Ticket if that's like where that nick, if that's why they start calling him Ticket. I wonder if he used to play like KG or something, or if he was, I want to know where that came from.
Probably.
I'm gonna ask him.
Probably. Because if you think about the name, I mean, Big Ticket. Why'd they call him Big Ticket? Because he was must see.
Right.
KG was must see TV. You got to get a ticket to see this dude.
Got to be. And I know Ticket had games, so I'm trying to figure out if that's where that came from.
He was must see.
Right. FIFA boy, OG, you my guy, but tomorrow we enemies. I got a smoking your whiners 30-10. Ooh,
good luck.
That's
with that.
Big talk, FIFA.
Good luck with that, brother. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow.
That's hey Ron, get out the chat, bro. Shut up. ASAP Henny, is Draymond really a generational defender?
Well, he's one of the best defenders of his generation. If you're thinking about it, if from 2012 to 2023, in the last 10 years, I mean, how many defenders can you name better than him in his generation? Because that's what a generational talent is. That's what a generational rebounder is. That's what a generational scorer is. So Draymond, right? Draymond Green, during that time, from the time he showed up in 2012 to today, how many defenders in the game are better than him? Let's see. Was Giannis a better defender than Draymond?
No.
How about Rudy Gobert?
Maybe.
I think we can have a conversation about Rudy. Mm-hmm. How about DeAndre Jordan?
I don't think so.
Leonard?
Yes.
I think Leonard was. I think Leonard was better. Hassan Whiteside?
I don't think so.
How about Tony Allen?
Man. Yeah, I think so. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure because that you mean like at the same time? I don't know. I think Tony was pretty much done by the time Draymond.
No, he wasn't. No. Tony Allen. And when Draymond showed up in 12, I think Tony Allen was in like year 6, something like that.
Well, I mean, like when Draymond really ascended as one of those top defenders. So what that might have been like 15?
I mean, Tony Allen, I think he was a first team All-League defender in from 12 to like 16. He was on the All-League defensive team.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think Tony Allen at his peak was one of the best defenders I've ever seen.
From what you're telling me right now, Big Ox, it sounds like it's at least a conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it sounds like it's at least a conversation.
Off the top of the head, though, like while Draymond was in the league, I can comfortably say I can comfortably say Kawhi and Anthony Davis. Gobert had a year or two, and so now when you bring up Tony Allen, I could go there too. But I think that's probably where the love stops for me.
So 4 guys: Leonard, Gobert. I'm not totally sure about Tony Allen, but between Tony Allen and Draymond, Tony Allen got that stamp of approval from Bryant.
Right.
So that's not to say that he wasn't an awesome defender, but the fact that Bryant gave him that stamp of approval, that elevated his status. Does that mean he was better? I'm not sure that he was, but I think that elevated him. But to answer the question, yes.
I think if you ask KD too, he'll tell you about Tony Allen. I think KD is, yeah. But those three, I'll say that since 2014, Draymond has always been a top 5 defender in the league. I don't think there's ever been a season where he wasn't top 5.
Tony Allen. How about Drew Holiday?
Oh, maybe for a season or two, yeah. Draymond just who?
Hey, how about Avery Bradley?
I like Avery, but I don't think so.
Nah, not Avery Bradley. Okay,
I don't think so. I really like Avery. I'm happy you brought Avery Bradley up. Shout out Avery Bradley.
I think that I can comfortably say Draymond is a generational defender. Yes, I can comfortably say that.
I can comfortably back that statement.
Yes, I can comfortably say he was a generational defender. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's the super chats for now. Let me bring up Breezy and leave Diggy. Let me bring Brooklyn in the house. What's up, y'all?
It's Brooklyn in the house without a doubt.
Is Brooklyn in the house? Because I was watching that episode.
Right, we in the house, bro. Come on, man. Stop bashing this.
I was watching that episode the other day, and I was just like, "Wow, I don't like how y'all did Brooklyn." But I'll say this: this is a power ranking show, right?
Yeah, we're gonna do some power rankings to here in about probably 20 minutes. Probably do some. We're doing teams though. We're not doing players, y'all.
Okay, all right. So let me just be quick. I know that for a fact that Chill said one of his favorite players was Dr. J, right?
Yes, sir.
Unfortunate situation for the Nets. Also, JT, he's one of your favorite players, right?
Yes, he is.
A draft pick that the Nets lost. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the villain in this situation, and I'm just noticing things like that. I'm just saying, what if because Robert Williams left, that Tatum had to play more post defense and hence puts him in foul trouble. I would imagine that will put him in an awkward situation for him to be the MVP because, of course he's going to score on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball might be trouble because he doesn't have Robert Williams to have his back. And we can't say that Porzingis is an adequate defender as a Robert Williams was. Right. So my question to you, Chill, is, I heard the laughing and stuff like that when I, pulled up on Chill for Chill last time when I had said that the Brooklyn Nets was split with the Boston Celtics. I even seen some humor from Big Ox. I thought Big Ox thought it was also humorous.
I saw that too.
I don't look. Hold on, Breezy. Let me clarify, bro. Let me clarify real quick because I don't want there to be any confusion. I wasn't laughing. I don't think it's humorous. I think it's downright crazy. I think it's downright insane. I think it's blasphemous.
Of course you do. Of course
Let
you
me
do,
clear
Bobby.
the air right there, bro.
Of course you do, Bobby.
It's ridiculous.
Of course you do. Of course you do. But the thing is, I'm gonna just use this slow.
Hold on, leave. Breezy, keep going.
Hold on, I just want to land the plane and saying, I also heard y'all say that you take it. Mars said, I hope y'all lose every game for Houston Rockets. All of this.
No, that's Mars. Hold on, Breezy. Breezy. That's Mars. That's not us. That's Mars. Mars.
Yeah, you gotta take that. You gotta take that up on the Mars with Mars.
Yeah, that's Mars
on the chat tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Mars on for that. That's not us.
All right,
I'm gonna sick them tonight, bro. Like, don't worry about it.
Did Chill say that he thought that the Cleveland Cavaliers was going to be better than the Nets? Did he say
did say that. I think they're top 3 seed in the East this year. I do.
Right.
I think they're top 3 seed.
And I always agree with Chill. Even with Mikal Bridges being the 3, and I, go back and forth because Leaf and
don't forget about the blue and tangerine niggas, bro. Across the damn map.
No, I got you. So case in point is, I agree. I don't come up here just to kick up dust with you. I actually be trying to chill. I don't try to be the villain. I'm really trying to chill. So my thing is with
speak your mind, Breezy. Speak your mind, Breezy.
So my thing is, if I did agree with Chill and Mikal Bridges is the 2 guard and Ben Simmons at health is at the 1, I mean, I imagine that's a tough act for small guys like Darius Garland, who is 6'2.5". Then you got Donovan Mitchell, who's 6'3". So you got Ben Simmons and Mikal Bridges on guarding that backcourt. I think we have that advantage because of matchups, and the Brooklyn Nets might sneak up in there. And I'll leave off saying this: the standings for ESPN got Milwaukee 1, got Boston 2, got Cleveland 3, Philly 4, and I think Miami 5. I don't got Miami there. They didn't get Dame Lillard, and none of y'all can name their point guards. 2. Also, when you got Philly with all of the shit that's going, upon my language, all of the stuff going on with James Harden and all of that, I don't see them a strong 1 through 4 seed. And Milwaukee is just potential, great potential, but the bar is set so high because Drew Holiday already got a chip with Giannis. So Dame Lillard could only match that at max. So what I'm saying is, I don't got the Brooklyn Nets a 40 and 42 team like the ESPN. I got us toggling between 3, 4, 5, and 6, beating out Cleveland and Miami for sure, and everything else debatable.
I'm not mad at your take, Breezy. I'm not mad at your take. I disagree, but I'm not mad at.
Me too. Me too. Absolutely.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Well, when I said it, they refuted it, bro. But I'm glad you up here.
Well, first of all, Breezy talked about both Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. There's a reason why they were the best defensive team in the game last year. The reason why they were the best defensive team in the game last year is because of their front line. So a guy like Ben Simmons, a guy like Mikal Bridges, it's not like them dudes live in the mid-range. It's not like them dudes are shooting the long ball all night. No, a lot of that stuff that they get goes in the mid-post and to the rim. Mikal Bridges can shoot the long ball, but a lot of his stuff he gets in transition and he goes to the rim. Ben Simmons is a downhill guy. Not only is he a downhill guy, does Ben Simmons want to go to the stripe? We're not really sure about that. So when you directing them dudes, directing Ben Simmons, when you directing Mikal Bridges to Evan Mobley, who I think is the defensive player of the year this year, when you directing him to Jared Allen, when you directing him to that front line, I think that you're talking about something completely different with that defense, right? So they're not as much of a liability. They're not much of a liability as you might think that they are. Now, another question that has to be answered is Jacques Vaughn as a coach. What kind of rotations is he going to have, right? Not only what kind of rotations is he going to have, how often is he going to stick with guys? And if he doesn't do that, can he coach you guys at a games?
Chill, can I say one thing? Can I say just one last thing? Because I know Leaf is waiting. I just want to say this, and I did this homework, kind of prepared for this question. And what I did was I realized that Byron Scott was the head coach of the Nets when they went to the finals, correct?
That was correct.
And when I seen the 2 seasons that he had with the Nets, I seen that he had played a roster of 10 men. He played 10 men in that roster. And in that roster, 5 of those guys averaged double digits. And the next 3 just shy of 10 points, 9.5, 9.3, 9.2, that type of thing. And the next 2 guys, they got substantial minutes, like 10 minutes a game or whatever. But from 1 through 8, Byron Scott played a solid 1 through 8. So what I'm saying is that iteration of the Nets of when they went to the finals is close to what we trying to build right now with this iteration of the Nets. Do you see that or not, Chill?
Not really. And the reason I'm not saying that it's not there. The difference is that Byron Scott had an elite distributor in Jason Kidd. You don't have that in Brooklyn. There's a reason why them dudes was averaging all the points that they was averaging. It wasn't like they were just running plays for Kenya Martin. It wasn't like they was running plays for Richard Jefferson.
Ben Simmons ain't an elite distributor?
He averaged 6 or 7 assists. No. We're talking about a dude in Jason Kidd who was a 9, 10 assists a game guy. That's what we're talking about. Those 2 dudes ain't the same. No, those 2 dudes are not the same. Absolutely not.
I just assumed you was just talking about distributor, bro. Like, I mean,
so let's talk about distributor. Leaf, are you sitting here telling me that Jason Kidd and Ben Simmons are on the same caliber as distributors? New Jersey Nets, by the way. New Jersey Nets, Jason Kidd.
Not in terms of production. No, absolutely
not in terms of anything.
And that's the point. That's the point.
Yeah, I hear you, guys.
I wanted to address something that happened the other night on another show. It was the show by the name of The Graveyard Shift, man. The host of that channel was running around telling people that some
hold on, Breezy. This is what we don't do around here. We don't dry snitch. We don't side talk. The host of the show is right here. Call him. The host of the show, Big Ox. That's him right there.
He knew what I was talking about.
He didn't. No, yes, everybody else knows what you're talking about.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because
speak on it, Lee. What's up?
I'm gonna speak on it very, very clearly, bro. Like, the thing is, bro, like one of the things I never do, like to anybody, bro, like when I'm debating is tell them you don't know hoops, or you don't know this, you don't know that. When anytime I hear Leaf, all you do is this, Leaf, all you do is that. Now you attacking me. You could have just said the Celtics did this, they're gonna do this. Nah, Leaf, the Celtics is gonna do that. Now I'm gonna explain why the Celtics is gonna fall on their face this year, and I'm gonna explain it very, very slowly. Now, back in 2008, after that year, they gave up a lot of their grit. Same thing they did this year. They gave up a lot of their grit players, a lot of their safety net players, and a lot of the players that helped the starters during that time. And I'm looking at it as it's basically the same shit, different toilet. So my thing is now with everything that Breezy told you about Robert Williams not being a safety net no more for the rim protection, with Marcus Smart basically being replaced for Drew Holiday that's basically trundling down, for Grant Williams who was having big games in the postseason where they made their finals run, for Malcolm Brogdon, who was the 6th man of the year last year, and helping them out as well. And for Ime, who was one of their leaders and one of their guys that could get them calmed down. Now I got to get real personal when I say this.
Hold on, Leaf, real quick. Before you get personal, because you see what you just did right there? You just came up here and talked hoop. You just came up here and gave points on why you feel somewhat. You didn't just come up here and say, nah, fuck them. They're through. They're two Scottie Pippins. That's not talking hoop. What you just did right there, Leaf, that's giving points, talking basketball.
Keep going, though, Lee. Keep going. I'm all ears to continue to hear.
Now. Before that said, I got into all of that by saying, thank you, Bobby. I did talk hoops, and that's what I was about to do the other night before you muted me, bro, and I couldn't get refuted and refute my point against that little booger P5 that was telling me about me. He didn't tell me about the Celtics. He told me about me. So that right there, that now you got personal, because I don't tell anybody about them takes. I don't tell Chill like, Chill, like, you got to line this, that. You never heard me say that. The Bobby, nobody, you, Chill, nobody. So when I'm talking about a team, TEAM, I'm talking about them. And I put this on everything that I know, and I harp on it. The Boston Celtics will not win the East. Quote me again. Like, I'm going to say it out loud. ChillTown, you hear me? The Boston Celtics will not win the East.
Not for the reasons that you just said. The reasons that you just said don't work, because the Boston Celtics in the Boston Celtics, if I'm not mistaken, your stance is that they gave up a lot of their grit. That's your stance. They gave up a lot of their grit, but they replaced that grit that year. Not only did they replace that grit, the result of them replacing that grit,
they made it back to the finals in 2010.
No. They made it back to the final. They made it back to the finals. Not only did they make it back to the finals, let's stick on in 08-09. They won 62 games that year.
Yes, they did.
That team was a meat and potatoes team with Eddie House, with Tony Allen, with Big Baby, with Brian Scalabrine. They did still have a lot of their grit. The only reason why they didn't win the NBA championship because they lost KG. They're back in the NBA finals if KG is on that crew. 100%. They are back in the NBA finals.
But the grit that I was referring to is the grit that they won with. I'm talking about Posey. I'm talking about Poe. I'm talking about who else?
Okay, Poe was on the crew the next year, just so you know. Poe was on the crew the next year.
Poe was on the crew the next year. Yeah, he was on the crew the next year. I think they lost James Posey and a couple of other players that I can't really remember off the top of my head.
They lost Sam Cassell, they lost James Posey, they lost PJ Brown. Let's see. That's three of their vets and grit guys. Tony Allen still was on the crew. That was the dude from last year.
Yes,
Not only was Tony Allen, Leon Poe was on the crew from last year. He still was on the crew. They added Glenn Big Baby Davis. He's now on the crew. They added Brian Scalabrine, that long ball shooter that they didn't have, and Eddie House. They got him now. So they added all of this stuff that was off the crew that you talk about is still on the crew. Now you're talking about this Boston Celtic team. I already told you. With Drew Holiday at the 1, now a lot of these guys get to play their natural position. So now that means Drew Holiday being at the 1, that means that Jaylen Brown gets to move to the 2, which is his natural position. Jason Tatum now gets to move back to the 3, which is his natural position. Al Horford now plays the 4. KP plays the 5. And Derek White now, who was a rotation player, one of the best rotation players in the league when he was in San Antonio, now gets to go back to that role, which is where he's going to be even better playing with this unit.
Absolutely. But the only thing that's problematic here is what type of Drew Holiday are you getting? Are you getting a Drew Holiday that got walked down by Jimmy Butler? Or are you getting a Drew Holiday that had to pick up the slack when Chris Middleton was basically mid for the last 2 years after their championship? Or are you getting a Drew Holiday that's going to tire himself out as the lead defender when you know you have other perimeter defenders? This is the real big question mark. And when it comes to the Celtics, and another thing on the Celtics, bro, about JT and JB, I told you they can't have any lapses during this playoffs because most of their safety nets and most of their guys that understand them are gone now. All of the guys that came up in the games where they had to be facilitators or they wasn't as good as efficient scorers in those games, like the Grant Williams, like the Marcus Smarts, just for lack of the two out of the 4 players that they traded, they can't afford to have any lapses this time around. And we know that they are known for having lapses. When it's time to get in the playoffs and when it's time to go far in the playoffs and go against other number ones and other guys that's asserting themselves on opposition teams, they cower. They start to go. You said it yourself. There's no in-between game with Jason Tatum no more. There's no, and now it's just threes and dunks and layups. If he's being moved away from the basket by these teams that they don't really have advantages against and on the inside, a la Milwaukee, then you're going to get the same results that you've been getting from the Boston Celtics because the go-to guys can't have lapses no more. They can't because their safety nets is all gone.
What safety nets were they? So those safety nets that they had last year, So you're talking about Robert Williams as a defender, is that correct?
Yes, Robert Williams as a rim protector. Yeah, I'm talking about Malcolm Brogdon as a sixth man of the year. I'm talking about Marcus Smart, who's been there and had some games.
Let's kill. Hold on. Stop right there, Lee. Let's kill Marcus Smart. You replaced him already with a better player who does the same thing that he does. So let's dead Marcus Smart. Stop right there. Number 2, I can appreciate Robbie Williams. I can definitely appreciate Robbie Williams, but with Al Horford, with KP, who was one of the best rim protectors in the game, one of the best shot blockers in the game. He's going to help. He's not a cone in the interior. No, he is not. And Jason Tatum, who did improve last year as a defender. Jaylen Brown, who made it clear this year that he's trying to get on the all-league defensive team this year. He said that. He said that. He said that he's trying to do that. So with that being said, I mean, how much did they really lose? And you talked about Malcolm Brogdon. Last year was the most games he's played since his rookie season. It wasn't like that's something that they depended on for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, that's you can give me the Marcus Smart point. I can get with that. But he just got Malcolm Brogdon. And that was only 1 year. And now he got Peyton Pritchard, who actually came in and gave them good minutes when he was in the rotation. They're going to have to start using him more. And I think that they will.
And I think Malcolm, and to harp back on the Malcolm Brogdon case, I think when you get a guy that hasn't played that many games since his rookie season and comes in to a team that's supposed to contend for a championship and automatically is the best 6 man in the league for the whole season, and he's contributed, and he's being the guy off the second unit to come in and contribute. Now you basically threw that to what you said, Peyton Pritchard and Derek White, who could now come off the bench. Derek White, I do like. He was an all-league defender last year, and now you got to basically figure out how much these guys are going to have left in the tank as they go forward in the playoffs. But the biggest question mark on for me with Boston is what Drew Holiday are you going to get? Is what version of Drew Holiday are you going to get?
Drew Holiday are you? What Drew Holiday do you want? I mean, Drew Holiday is awesome.
He is. Yes, he is.
He is awesome. He's better than Marcus Smart. He does the same things that Marcus Smart does. So it's not like you're getting an inconsistent sometimes Drew Holiday. And it's not like they're solely asking Drew Holiday to be Jason Kidd or Magic Johnson. Yo, can you be better than Marcus Smart? I think so.
I think he can, but can he do it consistently in the playoffs and add the element that he didn't have to add, bro, when he was when Middleton was out over that side? Because a lot of the reasons why he struggled is because he had to pick up the scoring, bro, that Middleton wasn't covering. That's a lot of the reasons. So when Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not effective on the scoring and they basically getting picked apart, now he's got to come pick up, and now he's got to basically control the game and control the pace of the game. I do like him for this team, but my thing is like all of these question marks that I just said about JT and JB not having consistent games in the playoffs, and then you add that along with a Drew Holiday that's basically spiraling, as a number 3, I guess, as a number 3 option, so to speak. These are the things that you have to ask yourselves with Boston.
We're gonna find out.
That's just me.
We're
But
gonna find out.
as far as I go, prediction and guarantee wise, Boston Celtics are not winning the East.
Okay, we're gonna find out.
We'll see, Leaf. I appreciate you pulling up, bro. That's how you come on and cook up. That's how you come on here and talk hoop.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Appreciate it.
Buddy, you might have learned something. That's called context. That's not a dude just standing in the crowd pointing his finger at everybody going, you're wrong, you're wrong. That's actually somebody with context, not one-liners like you do with your bullshit slick one-liners. He actually talks basketball, unlike you.
Early Cofield, what's up?
What up?
What's up, man?
Context, what's good?
What up?
What's the word? What's the word, fellas?
What up?
What y'all got?
No, I don't only see you. Matter of fact, I don't see you at all, my man. What I do is I recognize you from time to time. I talk to other people, but you are this. The other people in here, the other people are bigger. You don't have any. You don't have any logic at all. All you are is you're the dude blaming everybody, pointing fingers. Let's be clear about one thing, my man. I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere, my man. Whether you like it or not, you can come on here and think you can cook me. You will never cook me, fam. You can laugh all you want. You can talk all you want, but you will never cook me, my man. I ain't going nowhere. I've been doing this way before you were around, and I'm gonna be doing this way longer than you are around. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Let's get active.
Yes, absolutely. Because let me tell you why. Because this dude, he's the heckler in the crowd. There's a reason why. There's a reason why in the NBA they don't grab guys out the stands and ask them to play, because you're not that good. Right. You can say something slick and maybe hit one shot. Can you stand out there the whole game? No, you can't. Same logic with this dude. You'll say something slick, but let me ask you a question. Can you sit up here for the entire time? Can you sit up here? I don't care about you being on for 5 minutes. I'm asking you, can you sit up here week in and week out, day in and day out, and get it on with us? I bet you can. Now, and all your little minions on your 3 minions that run with you, they can't do it neither. Now, how about that? But they right behind you.
Remember the show.
Dude said he always on PC. Dude was on the block for 5 minutes and then he bounced. Give me a break, yo.
My fellow
sit behind his computer. Man. Early, like you were saying, early. Go ahead.
Man, nice to see you, chill, man.
What up, brother?
One of the most level-headed brothers I've ever seen talk sports. And
thanks, brother.
That.
Wait. Hey, early. This your first time pulling up on Chill with Chill?
Yeah, I'm a regular now on with my boy J Rob on All Football. I'm a regular now. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to stop paying me pretty soon with the takes I'm giving, man. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay, that's what's up. I'll be seeing you in the chat. I know we went back and forth a couple times in the chat, but
I'll be seeing you too.
Respectful in the chat. I'm gonna be real with you guys, though. I want to say this, man. I appreciate you guys. I'm telling you why I appreciate you guys, because I'm used to being in the chat talking my mess, this, that, and the third. But it wasn't until recently, the last couple of weeks, I've been, like I said, I've been a regular, one of the main 4 on anything that got to do with on the open field or press box. And I got my haters too. Huncho can't stand me. Like he talks crazy about me in the comments.
Early, let me put something on your mind, Early. Let me put something on your mind, Early.
It's always gonna be one hater that just talk crazy about.
Let me put something on your mind, Early. He'll come up here and he a church mouse. You should see this. Like, he'll come up here. He's been on here before. He'll come up here and he a church mouse.
He can't stand me, man.
He won't say he won't. There's a reason why his boys call him Muncho, because he's an L. He comes up here and he won't say he'll say 2 or 3 things. He's a church mouse. That's who he is, B.
Damn, Huncho catching strays. Damn, Huncho.
He ain't catching strays. This is a fact.
Thanks, Brady.
Shell is in his bag.
What up, though, Early? What up, Tex?
What up, yo?
What you got first, Early?
Are we just talking hoops?
Prove I'm a bluff, homeboy. Prove it. Prove it. I'm a bluff. Prove it. Prove it. Go ahead, Early.
I'm gonna shoot the link out, ChillTown.
Prove I'm a bluff. Prove it. Prove it. That's how we get to the bottom of that. Prove I'm a bluff.
What up, Context Matters, too? What's up, bro?
What up, bro?
Yo, what's good, my guy?
This dude comes in, and the problem I'm having, Big Ox, is that we come up here to talk basketball, and we got this going on. This should not be going on, B.
Yo,
this should not be going on.
This is an ISO. I'm letting him rock.
This should not be going on, B. We coming up here to talk basketball. And I don't want to ruin my show with this kind of goofiness. I don't. Anyway, as you were saying.
Yeah, go ahead.
So look,
Go ahead, Early.
Are we just talking hoops? Because I got a football thing I got to have a conversation with Chill about.
We serving y'all tomorrow night. I'm letting you know right now. We serving y'all. Before you go any further, we serving y'all.
Who is us? I'm not
tomorrow night on prime time. That's all I gotta say. Tomorrow night, prime time, 8 o'clock.
You need to chill.
We serving y'all tomorrow night. So
chill.
That's all I gotta say.
Listen, can I say something? Now, I'm actually a 49ers root for. I'm a Panthers fan. Can't stand everybody that know me so far know that I can't stand Bryce Young. I need him to get off my team. But I'm gonna say this to you.
I'm listening.
I had an argument with Dub and it pissed me off, man, because it was a lot going on. So Dub wants me. I said that the team to beat in the NFC is the 49ers. Team to beat in the AFC is the Bills, right? Dub has this argument because he's a Philly fan that if anybody's the team to beat in the NFC, it's the team that went toe-to-toe with the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though they was up by 10, should have been up by 17 in the first half. They were better than the Chiefs last year. Should have beat them, but they lost. I'm trying to convince him. He's telling about last year. I'm trying to tell him and understand that, dog, the 49ers, not only is Brock Purdy a legit quarterback to me, I'm looking at this offense that lost Christian McCaffrey. They on all cylinders, lost to Deebo Samuels. Defense is still defensing. Philly is in a dogfight every game. The Redskins, the Patriots, the Vikings. Meanwhile, the Bears just made the Bears like the 85 Bears against the Redskins this past Thursday. And you telling me this the team in Philly that's gonna beat the 49ers? With all the weapons that Greg Kittle, we talking Deebo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, we talking Christian McCaffrey. Like, this is a legit team. So I want to get you. Do you think the 49ers are the team to beat in the NFC?
I think we would have beat Philly last year if Brock Purdy didn't get knocked out. I think we beat them. I think we beat them last year. Now now that humming sound that you hear, that's our offense. That humming sound that you hear.
So ChillTown, y'all beat the Eagles. Do y'all beat the Chiefs too?
I mean, George.
Yes, we got a rematch. Yes, we got a rematch. And the reason why we got a rematch with the Chiefs last year and we beat them, the reason why we got a rematch with them and we beat them, number one, our defense is better. Number two, our offense is different. Our offense is completely different. We hold on to the football longer. We don't let Patrick Mahomes get on the field as much as we did the year before. Even though our defense was awesome, we hold on to the football a little bit longer. It's definitely more ground and pound.
I'm not turning the ball over too.
It's definitely more ground and pound, and we hold on to the football longer. And I think we beat the Chiefs. I was looking forward to that rematch. I was.
A lot of flack about
Brock Purdy. He got to prove it to me. That's all I got to say. Brock Purdy got to prove it.
Things of that nature. But I'm trying to convince people that Brock Purdy is legit. Why he's legit? You're looking at a Brandon Ayuk or Deebo Samuels. They wasn't putting up these numbers with Jimmy G. Yeah, I understand the guy can be in a good system, but there's plenty of guys that are in good systems, but they're not feeding the ball. Like the offense has a flow, whether it's a good system or not. You're seeing a Brandon Ayuk looking at, he's gonna have 1,500 yards at that pace he on. Deebo gonna have over 1,000 yards. Chris McCaffrey might be MVP status this year. Like he's going crazy. I'm saying Brock Purdy's legit, man.
You hear context. You hear it.
But in my opinion, I think the Eagles, the offense is, I think it's a work in progress. Obviously, you see, like everybody's getting like the thing about it with the Eagles offense, you have, like, in my opinion, the two best, like I think they're top 10 receivers, like easily, like AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. I think they can get whatever they want on everything on the route tree. They're both fast. They both can make tough catches. I think just Jalen Hurts, once he's locked in and they're able to just, and Swift, he's been toting the rock, like he's been going crazy. He's been able to like slice the defense up with his running, and like they've been able to like sustain, even though they've been having dog fights. I think the offense is just going through its ebbs and flows. I think it's going through a little valley and like a little bit like off a rocky point, but I think once it starts clicking, it's gonna be like insane, because a lot of they can run like they can go into RPOs, and Jalen Hurts has improved as a passer. So like in my opinion, I think it's just
he fell off this year context. They ain't trusting him with the ball as much.
Nah, but my thing is, I think like the value, like I will give it 2 more games to give that a proper evaluation. I'm still waiting. I feel like
do you think Devontae Smith is a top 2 receiver?
Yeah, I think he is.
Do.
I think he is. I just don't.
Would you rather?
I don't think they use him as much. I don't think they use him as much as if Devontae Smith played for the 49ers, he might be a 1,000-yard receiver.
I'm on record
there we go.
Is a Marvin Harrison copy.
Now you talking.
That's what I think he is. That's what I think he is. I think that if he was with the 49ers, he'd be a 1,000-yard receiver. We'd be using him way more. He's definitely more of a deep threat, Not only is he more of a deep threat,
Yes.
also in those slant routes and those 10-yard digs and sitting behind zones,
You know who
he'd be chopping the
Marvin
field up. He'd be
Harrison.
awesome on the
Y'all
49ers.
said Devontae is Marvin Harrison?
I'm seeing a Marvin Harrison.
That's what he remind me. That's what he remind me. That's
That's
what he
what I
reminds
said,
me of.
That's high praise.
That's what he reminds me of. He reminds me of Marvin
Yeah,
Harrison.
yeah,
That
facts.
smaller frame, but has elite separation speed when it comes to route running. He's always wide open, catches everything comes his way. He's a Marvin Harrison. He might not be as fast as Marvin, but as far as his frame and his skill set, he's a Marvin Harrison type.
Right.
I ain't fighting that.
But
I
I
won't
think
fight
he
that.
compensate with that for better having ball. Like I think he has like I wouldn't say he has better ball skills than Marvin because Marvin could track the ball, but I think he's just a little bit more athletic. He has a better vertical, so I think he could do more acrobatic catches compared to Marvin. I think Marvin was more like like hand dexterity, things like that. Like he was able to extend and not really use a lot of vertical. I think Devontae has a little bit more verticality. But I don't want to get too much into football. We're definitely talking about hoops. I just want to tap it. Just a side comment on the Boston, just to add in. I know we're talking about Chill's team, so he gets a little bit, you know what I mean? He gets a little bit defensive. But I'm
not a Boston Celtics fan. Let's be clear about that. I'm a Jason Tatum guy.
Oh, JT,
that's who I am. I'm not a Celtic. I'm a Jason Tatum guy. So there's a difference.
My fault. But I will say this. The reason why I think there's going to be a little bit of a hitch with Jason Tatum, I agree. I just think he's going to get better, and we're going to see like you said, he's going to enter into his peak. However, to me, I feel the fact that he's playing with JB and he's playing with KP, the fact that they have to move the ball around now is up to Drew. If Drew is able to facilitate the offense, and remember when he first got to all the teams that he got to, when he first got to New Orleans, it was a little bit slow. It took a while for Drew. Because I will say this: if you watch Drew's play style, it's very awkward. He's probably the most efficient, awkward point guard I see during these times.
I think Drew got one of the super game in the league.
No, because the thing about it is that he has a very crafty and very hitch-like dribble style. So when he's dribbling in a fast break, it's smooth. Don't get me wrong. It's smooth, but it's very you don't know when he's passing or when he's shooting, which is a good thing. But I think in the flow of the offense for JT and JB to get right, he has to be a very standard point guard. You get what I'm saying? Like Chill said, JT and JB, they need to get off on the mid-range. They need to be able to get quick shots, quick movement, not for them to hold the ball and have to play make and create open opportunities for everybody else. I think if JT scores and he's more of an attacker and he's able to be an efficient 3-level scorer, then he has a chance at the MVP. If he has to rely on any type of playmaking where he's doing a lot of offense initiating because Drew is not picking up the offense in time, I think that's going to be a detriment to the team because I think they're going to end up reverting back to JT and JB ISOs if Drew can't pick up the offense smoothly enough.
Well, here's the difference with that though. Context. We're talking about a Drew Holiday who played with Giannis, right? So I don't think he's going to have a problem playing with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. I don't think he's going to have a problem. And he's going to take a lot of pressure off these dudes, considering he's a better scorer than Marcus Smart. He scores in a variety of ways. So he's going to command the defense, which is going to take a lot of pressure off them. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not love Jason Tatum as my primary playmaker. That's why Drew Holiday is here. And I'm definitely feeling that. I think that they're going to be better. I think they're going to be better than what you're giving them credit for.
What are you talking about? Tatum ain't strong to finish to the rim. I think the most important player on the Celtics team is KP, and I'm very high on KP. I think KP. You can't name me 10 better centers than KP in the league right now.
This the same dude that said that the more talented team, if they don't win, they choke. That's the same dude who said that.
He's terrible.
I just want to put that out.
Here's the thing I think here's my thing about Tatum and JB. One, JB got working that left hand. It is a problem. But I do think that if Tatum can, again, like we always talk about, find that mid-range game like a Kawhi, I think Tatum has the ability to get to the rim at will. And then with KP knocking down shots the way he can knock down shots, and you got Al Horford, that lane should be wide open for Jason Tatum. Like this should be his, he should be on some mellow.
I think it's going to be in this. I think it's going to be when the zone pops up. I think that's going to be when it gets even better with KP.
They're gonna shoot your lights out.
This my thing about Jaylen Brown in that left hand. I just hope that he doesn't keep hearing about that left hand and be trying, you know what, I'm gonna go left to prove a point. I don't care about all that. Like I know. I'll be like you got to be able to use both hands. You're a professional. I say that all the time. But stop him from going right then. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear about all that left. And I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't come out. Yeah, well, I just hope that he doesn't come out this year trying to prove a point, forcing it going left. You know, just play your game. He averaged 27 last year. So
Big Ox, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I didn't see Jabbar trying to skyhook left-handed on the regular. Stop this and you stop me.
Right.
But
it's that simple.
The Celtics, it's just a mentality thing. Like I don't remember when he Ume coached him. I don't remember them shooting some threes in the playoffs. It was ridiculous. Like they are
was a lot of pin downs.
Jason Tatum turned into James Harden.
Yeah, those are strong wings too.
Yeah,
those are big guys. Like them ain't no little boys. JT and JB are big. I'm talking about Jordan.
Jason Tatum is 6'9". He every bit of 6'9". Every bit.
And can get to the whole.
A lot of wiggle outs. You know, pin downs. Yeah, they had him in the post going to work mid post. And the only
Ticket did make a good point about their media days and whatnot, and some of the things that Joe Mazzulla was saying. So hopefully we might see some more added to the offense, some different things. But fellas, we are getting kind of towards the end, so I do got to let y'all go. Early, like you said, I know we be going out in the comments, but look, some of my best friends, we had to knuckle up first. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good, bro. It's all love. I appreciate y'all pulling up. We'll catch y'all.
Go.
Salute, fellas.
Yes, sir. Context. Yeah, Big Ox. I never heard that before, man. You know, if you can stop this, then you can stop me. I mean, there's no reason for me to have to switch up my game because now you saying that I got to switch up my game. No,
right.
Until you stop this. Until you stop this, then I'll do something different. It's really that simple. It is. It's really that simple. So
ChillTown. Buddie did click on that link. I got my guy back in the lobby.
Bring him up.
All right, no doubt. We're gonna pull up Buddie. Y'all, let's keep it,
man. I'm sick of this dude, Joe. I come up here and I talk basketball. That's what I do. I come up here and I talk basketball. I don't know who this dude is. Man, bring him up. Get his ass up here. I don't care. Whatever. Bring him up here.
What's up, buddy?
I don't care. Bring him up here.
Bob, what's going on, Bob?
Everywhere I go, flex.
No question, bro. No question. ChillTown. First of all, this the number one fact. ChillTown hoops don't pop up on my YouTube feed. You know what I'm saying?
So what you doing here then? You know I'm here, so what you doing here then? If you know I'm here, why you here then?
You think
why you here?
That's your problem.
What you doing here if I'm here?
This is what employees do.
What you doing here if I'm here?
Employee, man. You an employee.
What I'm doing? What you doing? See what I'm talking about, Big Ox? See what I mean? This dude don't have no logic. All he doing is just yelling.
No, because you talking about me.
Get your ass out of here, man. This dude is so corny. Number one hater.
What you talking about, man? Like I was saying though, Ox, I pulled up the you on a late night stream. I pulls up the open gym. I pulls up the Dubs World, nigga.
And you know this is my show. And you know that this is my show.
This is not your show.
It says chill with chill, Goofy.
Ox is a host, nigga. I come to
it says chill with chill. This is my show. And Ox is the host.
Do we got any basketball talk between
y'all? No, we don't. No, we don't. And the reason why we don't, Ox, because this dude is nothing but a one-line slick talker who points fingers. And like I said, my man, the same way you feel about me, I feel the same way about you.
You at the end of the day, Ox, it's crazy.
Once again, the same way you feel about me, I feel about you. You don't never have to come up here to talk ball.
I'm gonna need
come up here with this goofy ass logic. So I feel the same way about you. So
go look at the Detroit Pistons episode. This man called me a hoe. So at the end of the day,
and talk about being emotional. Talk about being emotional, right? We got some nerve talking about a dude being emotional. We seriously talking about it. We talk about me being emotional. Like this dude called me MF and nigga and all that stuff. But he talking about being called emotional. Get your emotional ass out of here. Fuck out of here, man. This goofy ass 5 day again, 5 minutes, 5 minute ass nigga out of here. Get the fuck out of here, yo.
Well, there's that.
He don't never talk basketball. He don't. Never talks basketball. He come up here talking about I called him a hoe and talking about me being emotional. Meanwhile, he calls me this and that and get the hell out of here. Fuck out of here with this corny ass dude.
Okay, so let me get to some super chats real quick.
Yes, sir.
Zay Shippy said Celtics always had deep teams with nothing to show for it.
Really? They was in the NBA Finals 2 years ago. They was in the Eastern Conference Championship last year, and this dude ended up getting hurt. I think that they beat the Celtics. I think they beat the Heat if he didn't get hurt. I think they end up beating them. So I mean, they're playing at a championship level.
ChillTown, I swear last year the Celtics were one ankle away from a championship.
I think so, Big Ox. I think so.
I think they beat the hell out of Denver in the finals.
I do think they beat Denver too. I do.
Maybe not beat the hell out of them. That's a little far.
I think they handled them. I do.
Yeah. Maybe I went a little far with that, but I think they beat them though. The GOAT Angie Carr. What's up, Ox? Why you pull up like Debo on Gridiron?
Did you?
I don't know. Nah. I was in the comments. I was just messing with the guys a little earlier, but I don't ever get on the football shows really. Angie Carr, new member. Maybe just renewed Angie Carr. No, I'm pretty sure Angie been a member. That's the GOAT. Savant's X said Buddie a hater.
First class, brother. First class. This ain't your show, even though Big Ox is the host. Big Ox is the host of Chill with Chill. That's me. Right. What's the deal? I don't understand. And that's not a slight to Big Ox. Let's make sure we clear about that. Me and Big Ox chop it up all the time, but at the end of the show, whose name is up there? That's me.
Facts. Okay. So I got it. Matter of fact, you know what though? We do let's get back to where we was at 2003. You want to finish up?
We was at 2000. What I want to do, Big Ox, because it's gonna be a segment like that again. So I would like to pick this up on Wednesday.
Okay.
I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna write that down. I'm gonna write down where we was. I think we was at 2003 with Duncan.
Yeah, we were at 2003. Tim Duncan just took it from Shaq.
We was at 2003 with Duncan, and then we'll pick it up from there. We'll pick it up from there, and then we'll move on from there. So
cool. Well, with that being said, then y'all let me get these cats. We got a couple more cats in the back. Let me bring them. I'll bring all three y'all up together. We'll let y'all get y'all's off, and then.
Oh, word! Let's get
what up?
Bro,
what is
the Celtics disrespect, man? What is the Celtics disrespect?
Celtics disrespect.
It's more Jason Tatum. It's more Jason Tatum, man. It's more Jason Tatum, which I think is nuts that they talk about.
I know,
JT
right?
Like that. Because I mean, he's improved every year. Because he's not. I don't know, putting up 30 every night. I mean, he averages 30.
It's because when we watch him, we know he should be better than what we see. And like that's probably it, Chill. Like he's
arguably a top 5 player in the league. You know what I mean? Like
I think he is a top 5 player in the league.
You know what I mean? Absolutely, it's arguable. It's definitely debatable. If you have him in your top 5, I don't knock you. If you don't have him in your top 5, I don't knock you. You feel me? The league has so much talent right now. It's crazy, bro. So even to be in the discussion for top 5 player in the league,
I do have him in my
even
top
to be in the discussion, you definitely a certified hooper.
Right. I feel like when you're talking about top 5 players, I'm not putting KD, I'm not putting James ahead of him because them dudes been around for as long as they've been around. They ain't been healthy. This dude has been playing at a high level and he's available. That matters. The fact that he's available, that matters. And the fact that he's available, I think that he jumps these guys.
For sure. I was just about to say, right now, obviously, if we're talking career, you're taking Bron and KD. But right now, at this very moment, I'm taking Tatum over both of them. He's younger. He's more, you feel me?
He's more available. He doesn't break down as much in the playoffs.
Let's not act like age doesn't matter, bro. Especially in sports. Like when it comes to the dog days and stuff, who's more spry? You feel me? You got 4 games in 1 week. Who you know is definitely gonna be there. That being 26, 25 definitely has its advantage. Being 35, 36. I'm right, Chill.
Chill. Me? Yo, Chill. I got a question. I got 2 questions for you. My first question to you is: do you think that the NBA should implement a Playmaker of the Year award? And if so, can you name who would win the Playmaker of the Year award in the past 3 to 5 seasons?
I don't know if Playmaker of the Year is realistic. I think it's fine the way it is. But in terms of, I look at playmaking different. I look at playmaking a little bit different than other people, and playmaking is on both the offensive and the defensive side of the basketball. You make plays on the defensive side of the basketball to create offense, and you got a lot of guys in the league like Drew Holiday who do that. So because you got a lot of guys who do that, there's one guy. I mean, that's why I think James is the best playmaker. Not today. I mean, I don't think a 21 year James in year 21 is the best playmaker in the game. No, I don't think that. But with that being said, I think that there are a lot of guys in the league that still are great playmakers. But with that being said, I don't think that there should be a playmaker of the year. We already have that. I think we got, the league MVP. We got the defensive player of the year. I mean, these guys are all great playmakers in their own right. So I don't think that you're going to specifically add an award for playmaker of the year, because if we're doing that, Big Ox, we got to add, who the best ball handler is, right? Who the best jump shooter is. We don't want to do that.
If they did do an award like that, though, ChillTown, just for the sake, who do you think would kind of be up for that? I would say I could throw Jimmy Butler's name in that hat.
Buckets is involved in that.
Offense, defense.
Giannis. I think Giannis.
Giannis
I think
for
Giannis
sure.
Giannis is at the top of that list. Let's see. Jason Tatum.
Giannis
Those are the
is
guys
one
that
of the best.
Joker.
Giannis is one
Would
of
Joker be in
the
there?
best help defenders.
Joker
of all
would
time,
definitely
man.
be there.
Joker, Luca, Steph. Who
Luka
else?
offensively, but Luka is a cone defensively, man.
I think his offensive playmaking would get him on there, though.
Bro, I think I can get around
Nick,
Luka.
I think calling Luka a cone is actually being nice.
Yeah, that's being disrespectful
I
to
think-
cones.
Isn't that he's bad? Isn't that he's bad defensively, or he just doesn't try? Like
He
when I
doesn't
watch
try
him, I
and
don't
he is
get
bad.
it.
Well, if he don't try,
I don't get it. Like, is he bad?
If he
Or is
doesn't
it just
try
he doesn't try?
defensively, if he doesn't try defensively, then that just shows the type of player he really is, and then he will be exposed within a couple years if that's. Because if you're not trying, half a defense, chill. Hold on, chill. Y'all hoop, I hoop. Half a defense, bro, is effort. Half, and the other half is technique.
I think it's a little more. I
The
think
other
it's even
half
a
is
little more than
technique.
that.
You feel me? But yeah, most of it is effort and technique.
So what's the difference between Luka defensively and somebody like Jokic defensively? It's effort, because Jokic puts effort.
They play defensively differently. Luka's guarding more perimeter-based players, whereas Jokic is he's defending the pick and rolls 90% of the time defensively, yelling switch and doing that. And I said it in a show about a week and a half ago. I think Jokic's improvement defensively is one of the main reasons why the Nuggets won the chip. If you look back at Jokic's career, he was awful defensively coming up. Now, I mean, he's not elite, but it's passable.
Average.
Yeah,
he's
it's
average.
passable. Like, he's not a liability anymore. He was a liability defensively. He's not that anymore.
Right. But fellas, I'm getting messages from the higher ups. We gotta wrap it up. Man, I appreciate y'all pulling up.
All right, chill. Salute, chill. You have a good one.
Yes, sir. I see that red light. See that red light behind Big Ox. The students is calling, telling us to chill out.
Man, appreciate y'all though, for sure.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, like we said, on Wednesday we will finish up. We were at 2003 with Tim Duncan. So, man, y'all make sure to pull up on Wednesday to see the end of that list. Hopefully, we'll get to those power rankings on Wednesday as well. But hey, man, it was a great show. Appreciate everybody that came through. ChillTown. Real quick. My man Sports PSP just came through with a super chat. Hey, Chill, thoughts on the Cowboys versus Niners game?
I think we handle them. Yes, sir. I think we handle them 100%. I think we handle these dudes tomorrow night. Dak Prescott is going to be the difference in that game. No matter what anybody tells me about the defense, tells me about anything else, Dak Prescott, force him to make mistakes, because the mistakes that he's going to make are going to be the difference in the game.
Well, shout out Dak Prescott. Let's get this done.
With that being said, drink water, put a suit on. Don't drink and drive. Call your mother and call your homeboy too, right? Call your homeboy and ask him if he okay. Do that.
Yeah.
Because
check on your people.
We got a tendency around here to think that, being men, we just hard. Yo, call your peoples, man. Make sure that they good. And you'd be surprised how far you go, right? You'd be surprised how far you go, or your man will go if you just called him up and was like, yo, what's going on? What's going on with you? You good? Everything all right? And talk to him. So do that. But until then, take it light, but take it.
Yes, sir, man. That was good right there, ChillTown, man. Check on your people, man, because if anything happens to them, you're gonna miss them, man. So y'all definitely love yourself. We'll see y'all on Wednesday.
Yes, sir.